preparing to live stream the meeting. So as with most of these platforms, we'll be live without knowing. So we might be live right this second.
My thing says meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Well, there you go. So we might be live. So don't say anything incriminating just in case. Okay, looks like we're live. It looks like we're live. And also it didn't really even let me add a title. So anyway, there we go. We're live. So hey, everybody, welcome. If you haven't met yet, I'm Sylvie McCracken from sylviemccracken.com. And today I have one of my incredible clients, Mariah Brown from mariahbrown.com. So Mariah, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thanks. I'm just so blessed. First of all, to have spent the last 14 months with you. And second, to be here now.
I love it. So let's talk about that. So I invited Mariah on because she is one of these powerhouse action takers that really has taken every single thing. I like to say my super caffeinated ones that would have done it, while doing a handstand if we had asked for it. So went above and beyond, did not only everything we asked, but 10 other things as well, and 10x faster than we expected. But really, first of all, let's start with, the fact that you're a certified nurse midwife, and that's sort of your background. So first of all, how did you go from that to network marketing to, wanting to create an online course? What even made that transition happen? Great
question. Yeah. So I went from corporate America to attending my best friend asking me to be at her birth, and like, wait a minute, I'm a midwife. Let me do an around the world trip and apply to grad school, and then did my training at Yale and finished the CNM training there. And started running women's health and loved it. I like to say that I love midwifing women through whatever chapter of life they're in.
I love it.
And then to make a long story short, there was a really devastating chapter where we were pregnant with our first baby and literally found ourselves jobless, homeless, uninsured, and had a miscarriage with an extra $10,000 debt. And my husband and I looked at each other and we said, this is never going to happen again. I cannot allow myself to be at the vulnerability of an employer.
Yeah.
And so that's when we decided to try on the network marketing industry with the objective of we're looking for time freedom, geographic freedom,
visual and financial freedom,
the financial freedom, the feelings of paying it forward, all of that.
Yeah, the impact, all of it. And I think that's what leads a lot of people to the online world, period. And sometimes that's network marketing, sometimes that's your own thing. But what I love is that you shared really, and that's what I'd really want to highlight as well, because it's all fine and dandy to share all the highlight reel, right? And all the good times. But the reality is I love the fact that you had that kind of breakdown that led to that breakthrough, which is what often happens in terms of like, you were really in a ditch,
Yeah, no, it was a crappy scenario.
Yeah. So then comes network marketing, which helped to some degree.
Totally. So then it was personal development. It was team development. It was learning how to communicate and lead individuals and share. And I mean, there's so much there that was valuable. And of course, it was a product line that really resonated with me as a healthcare provider and research, blah, blah, blah. So then through that journey, I became kind of known as an expert in the realm of female hormones and addressing our hormonal imbalances through food.
Yep. And you created a little bit of an audience through that as well, which not only did you gain a little bit of that confidence of putting yourself out there and dipping your toe out and getting rejected and all those things that happen when you start selling something, but you also created a little bit of a following and an audience as well.
Right. So then the audience was built and grew quickly in a really not premeditated way. And had a Facebook group that quickly grew to 8,000
organically.
And then that space, this Facebook group was a platform to vet experts and products and bring them to this group of women in a women's health arena called Beyond the Red Tent.
Right.
And so then I'm interviewing all these experts from around the world that are doing online work and have online programs. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
Here I am.
Why don't I have one of these?
Seeing patients one-on-one, managing the women's health, not with my kids.
Well, let's talk about that as well. How old are your kids now? Because I'm sure they're, getting older and older.
8, 7, and 3.
Right. So when we met, they were.
they were 7,
I can't do the math.
6 and 2. Somewhere.
There you go. Little. Yeah. So I love that. So you were doing one-on-one, you didn't have your own course or product.
No.
And what I remember when you and I met, you were hanging in there, but a lot of this Beyond the Red Tent work was pro bono, essentially.
Well, and kind of still is in many ways.
Yes. So it was free in terms of, you know, the impact piece, check. You were absolutely impacting the world, no problem. Yeah. But the income in terms of for you and the freedom, not so much on either one of those buckets.
No,
yeah.
No, so it was a really stressful time in my life.
Yeah, and I remember it.
I had this idea of and I wanted to create a program. I had written out outlines and started creating stuff, but I just felt stuck. It was like, I need.
Well, and you dabbled in memberships as well. Remember
that?
Yeah,
dabbled in memberships, right?
Yeah, we almost forgot that. Yeah. Yeah. And you had a business partner as well. So I'll never forget all this because we, you know, you guys, when Mariah and I met, you know, there was all of these different pieces going on. And I was like, okay, I was taking notes, furiously taking notes. I probably have those somewhere. And it was just like, there's this, and 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 there's a business partner we got to consult with. And then there's this, and this thing doesn't make any money, but takes up all this time. And then I got this other thing, and I got this other idea, and I was like, yo, how about we move all of that to the side and do one thing and create one online course. And I also want to talk about for one quick second, your hesitations for a second, you know, like what was it that at that moment was like, I don't know, you know, like, I don't know. What was it that kind of, you almost didn't jump in? I feel like. Well,
no, I actually felt like I had total clarity. Like there have been maybe 3 times in my life where there was, I feel lost. I don't see the path. I don't know. Oh, there it is. I see the path. I see the person that I know will help me get there.
Yeah.
And I had clarity, but I didn't have money.
Right. Well, that's a huge one.
And I had a business partner that was not on the same page.
She was not. Her heels were dug all the way in.
And I'm not a crier.
Yeah.
But it brought me to tears having so much clarity. But I know that's the path. I know that's, but I all our credit cards were maxed out. Yeah. I literally did not have a way.
Yeah.
And I was stuck by my business partner not being engaged. And so I couldn't use those funds.
Right.
And so it was my best friend who sat down and listened to me. It makes me feel emotional, even though I'm not a crier. And
let's cry.
She just said, you know, I believe in you. And I know that you need to do this. And she's a savvy businesswoman. And she said, I will give you the money, but it's not a gift. This is a loan you're going to repay. And by the way, you're going to give me a percentage of your proceeds from now on. So now she's making bank.
First of all, shout out to Tommy because I mean, why not?
It was a smart investment on her part.
See, she knew a winner. She knew a winning horse. She knew a winning horse. Yeah.
And I continued to let you know, like, I know this seems like I'm hesitating and I'm trying to figure it out, and I kept like saying, but look, here's my credentials and I promise I'll take this seriously. I remember. I just have to get the pieces
I need a minute. Yeah. Well, first of all, Mariah, I honestly, truly from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for sharing that because of course I know all that story. And for me, everything our clients say or every confidential conversation we have is confidential until someone tells me otherwise. But I'm so glad that you're, you know, willing to be that vulnerable and share that because I think that story is actually a lot of people's story. And it's just, there's this whatever that we don't want to share that sometimes in terms of when we were in those spots. Of course, it's a lot easier to share once we're, you know, things are completely different, but really not even having that initial investment to make, to be able to solve the problem you're trying to solve. And I think that is that catch-22 that a lot of people see themselves in. And, you know, when you're in that situation, often you get creative, just like you did, where if, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, you figure it out. And of course you have even more pressure now in terms of, you better turn that into a return on investment.
Absolutely.
Right. But you're the type of person.
Seriously. Yeah. There was skin in the game.
There was serious skin in the game.
And I was hungry to create shift.
Yeah.
And so, you know, to everyone listening, yes, Sylvie helped me in my first year make a 6-figure year.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I say that she helped me create a life. I mean, it was.
So the kids knocking.
Someone just came to the front door.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's life.
Yeah.
That's the work from home life.
Literally in a place of looking at my future in a completely different way.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And thank you for that. And, you know, I mean, yeah, six figures is fantastic and all, especially since you didn't have an income stream. Although to be clear, you know, Mariah had done other things before and all of that jazz, but going from that 0 to six figures is honestly the hardest part. So seeing you now, I think your highest month was, you know, during our time together was 20K. Seeing you now, like being able to create a 7-figure, you know, business, if you so desire, it's like, that's easy, right? And believe it or not, and a lot of people listening, actually the 0 to 100K is the hardest part. It's where, you know, it's where you're really learning to ride the bike, of the mechanics of the bike, right?
Well, and the mindset crap, my stinking thinking continues to show up, you know, like at the beginning with you, all of my worthiness stuff was in my way, and all the stories of who am I, like that. Your list of 50, honestly, I've still never done it. I couldn't. It was like,
I'm gonna kill you. You're in so much trouble.
It was so difficult for me.
Yeah. And so yeah, just feeling like, who am I to do this? You know, these other PhDs and LMNOPs and whatever, and who am I?
Comparisonitis. Right. And how do I ask someone for money?
Right.
For the thing that I do? Because as a healthcare provider, no. Here's your slip, you go check out at the front desk.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I hear a lot. So both that, so there's that part where it's like, you know, there's obviously, you know, with as a healthcare provider, somebody else is in charge of taking payment. And also the business model is, you know, it costs X dollars for X amount of minutes, and there's nothing to really talk about. It just is what it is. And somebody else handles payment, or insurance handles it. Or if you're an employee, then you get a salary and someone else is dealing with the customer, whatever. There's that. And then the second thing is, as a network marketer as well, it's not your product. And so you had been asking for money to some degree, but selling somebody else's thing and being like, they are so great, and this is so great, and over there, they're so great. And now there's this big shift on like, me, you know, my thing. I created this with my expertise. And
and it's my freedom to practice in whatever way I want to practice, and infuse into the program what I feel like resonates best with my clients outside of my licensing constraints.
Yes, exactly. Well, I love that. So now you're able to, you know, kind of run your own thing, which, you know, share a little bit if you're open to it, you know, kind of what your values and what your day-to-day looks like, because everybody's day-to-day looks a little bit different. And as we even heard, you know, just the knock on the door and whatever, we're both in our home offices. But share a little bit of what your day-to-day looks like now versus, you know, what it did before.
It's awesome. And I will say, when you said going to 7 figures, like my stomach turns a little bit. I still am going, yes, that's really exciting, but really, am I there? And, you know,
right. But it all comes, you kind of go back to, it's like Chutes and Ladders, where all of a sudden you go back and you're like, but who am I? Da, 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 da. We got to go through all that again.
Take a breath. So what's my life like? I work from home.
Yeah.
For me, it's really important that I have an office space where I like having the kids in an earshot, where I know that they're cared for. Yeah. But if it's that I need mommy cry, that I hear it and I'm accessible to them.
I love it.
When I say that Sylvie helped me not just design a program, but design a life, a lot of that was around setting boundaries and prioritizing me time. So I hired someone to come in and do food prep, and someone to come in and clean my house, and initially felt
amazing,
totally guilty for it. And I would like want to be mopping or sweeping while she comes. I'll never forget the day where I was like, no, I'm going to sit down and play a game with my daughter.
Yes.
Because my time is that valuable. Yes. And when I fill up my cup and hire this support so that I can have the quality time with my family, or fill up my reserves so that I can do a better job at pouring into those that I serve.
Yes.
It's been powerful. Another piece that is alive right now is I live in Southern Oregon, and we're going into fire season as though there's a whole nother season. Right. And last year was pretty traumatic. We live in a community where like the town 5 miles from us was burned down, and I had to literally drive through the fire to get to my kids with plane. And like, so we had a little bit of smoke in the air, and both of my kids were panicking. Yeah. And so we're like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. I love this. I love this story. And I've heard it before, you guys. And also, you know, I've lived a little bit of it because Mariah and I actually happen to live in the same town of Southern Oregon, in Ashland, Oregon, which I think, I mean, you're the only current client that lives here. We've only had a handful of clients that live locally, but it was literally just by happenstance that we met, nothing to do with living in the same town. So we lived this traumatic event last year where we're like in the middle of a call going, hey, I think we need to evacuate again. So I totally resonate with this PTSD, but how amazing is it that you can actually make the choice of being like, you know what? I'm bouncing. I'm going to go to Florida, and that's where we're spending the summer.
It gives me chills.
I love it.
And seriously, I found you through a Facebook ad. And then I watched your webinar.
Right. It wasn't until we were,
And somewhere on the call, I was mentioning small town in Oregon. And you're like, wait, small town Oregon, where?
Yeah. I was like, wave out the window.
And then what street do you live on?
Right. Exactly.
We're in the same place. So yeah, crazy. The freedom. So if initially what I was looking for was time freedom, geographic freedom, financial freedom.
Yes. Yeah. And you've done all of that. I mean, you guys, hiring a chef, hiring a housekeeper, employing these women as well, which by the way, really keeps that abundance flowing, which I'm a huge, huge fan of. None of them are inexpensive. We actually have the same chef, so I know. But being able to do this in a way that, feels like it really aligns with our life values is incredible. And I'm a huge fan, and we just so happen to, we don't exclusively work with women, but it just so happens that a lot of the people that come our way are women, and a lot of times mothers. And we are probably the group that spends the least amount of time on ourselves, money on ourselves, that deals with these issues, like you mentioned, in terms of guilt, with creating a little bit of ease. Like, how dare we sit down and play a game with our kids while somebody else is mopping or whatever else. So I love that you're sharing this, but also you managed to pay off, all of your debt, which how incredible is that? Like, it was like credit card after credit card was like another one paid off and another one paid off. Incredible. Like, blow your credit score out of the water.
Totally. 750, my friend.
Good job. Because I know that was a big thing. And that's not, by the way, what we do, you guys, but this is like these domino effects of what comes with financial.
And hiring a VA.
Yes. Hiring a virtual assistant is huge, huge. So hiring, team on your, not just personally, but professionally as well.
Right. So that I'm not spinning, trying to do all things, but allowing myself to do the things that I think of as in my zone of genius. Yeah. And letting others do something that's in their zone of genius. Yeah. So we're paying it forward, and we're in alignment so that our cup is filled, and we get to, when we're doing work, we're doing a better job. I mean, it's like, it's all so phenomenal. And your retreats, we were in a pandemic, so the retreats were online. I don't even know what in-person retreats were, but they were awesome. Online.
Right. Well, I love that. Well, spending time with a group so with anyone listening to this, I mean, the reality is, what you have to think about is, are the people around you, are the people that you're spending the most time with, the 5 that you spend the most time with, are they a plus or a minus? Are they adding to your life? Are they adding to your thinking? Are they expanding the way you think? Are they questioning your limiting beliefs? Or are they fueling them? Are they actually the ones saying, well, are you sure that's going to work? Or who do you think you are? So there's that part. So I love having, watched you really grow into this powerful CEO that's also completely in alignment and has that, huge heart. And I love that you're not only serving these incredible women that you coach, but also, your team members as well. So tell people a little bit about what you coach women on.
Oh yeah. So I help women with their energy, hormones, and libido. The tagline that Sylvie helped me design, which is so true, is I help women move from exhausted to energized, balance their hormones, and feel turned on by their life, their lover, and themselves. That's so huge. It's a deep dive into addressing the physiology through a functional medicine lens, but also helping women revive their vitality and their passion and their relationships. It's really awesome, phenomenal.
Well, and first of all, I've seen some of Mariah's testimonials. So I know firsthand, her program works because we've seen some of the love notes she's gotten from her clients. And you've not only created, you created a front end program, then you created a back end program because you're one of my super caffeinated ones, like I like to say. But I love that you really are transforming these women's lives forever and very deeply, because your testimonials are fire. But not only, I have to imagine that it's that same domino effect that happened with you in your life is also happening in these women's partners and children and friends and entire circles. So you're really transforming entire communities.
I've received thank you letters from partners.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Actually, there was they were a heterosexual couple that it's not a partner, long-term partner, sent me a gift and a handwritten card.
Oh my god.
Sharing the transformation that he saw in her and thanking me.
Okay, well, that's going in your homework, but I can't help it. Coach hat back on. Listen, I don't want you to tell me you don't have enough reasons why. That's a whole reason. I love it. That's so amazing. And I love that. I love people that take the time out of their day, because I can guarantee you, for that one that sent you that, there's 10 others that thought it and just didn't get around to actually acting on it. But
there was another that was just a DM.
That's amazing. Hey, that works too. You know, it's just knowing that confirmation. And usually those land exactly when you needed it. So that's awesome. So Mariah, I love this. I love the fact that you were able to create a 6-figure year. I love that you're able to impact women so deeply. I also love that you didn't have the money at first. I love that you had to get so resourceful, just because it really shows, you know, people the possibility in terms of when you're really committed, when you're really serious. And let's be honest, Mariah did hard work. I would love to be able to take more credit. I mean, there were rolling up of sleeves and work involved and some scraped knees along the way for sure. So that's always my disclaimer. This is not, you know, a get rich quick scheme or whatever.
Totally.
For sure.
I mean, for those first 3 months, particularly because I had the kids and then we were in the pandemic and they were at home and all of that.
Yeah. School canceled.
I was often working midnight to 2 a.m., even 3 a.m. sometimes. I mean, I was putting in the grit.
I'm glad you're mentioning that, because that's what it takes sometimes when people are in that catch-22 of sometimes they have a day job where it's like all they've got is evenings and weekends. And you had a toddler, you know, plus 2 other kids in pandemic with no childcare, with your husband off working and trying to juggle all of that. And at some point work had to get done.
Yeah. It's,
you really,
there was no other option for me. This was go big or go home. And also, like you say, the water bottle that you gave me saying perfectionism is canceled.
Yeah.
It was just like, this doesn't have to be perfect.
Good enough.
This has to be an action.
Yeah.
Because my life has to change.
Yes. It reached a critical point of like, we can't keep doing this any longer.
And I wanted to serve women in a way that I want to be in my zone of genius and feel like I'm doing amazing work in the world and changing lives.
Right. And that's not happening one-on-one when you're repeating yourself over and over again.
Yeah. And the last thing I just want to add, I didn't mention this, was I feel like it's done wonders for my marriage too. I mean, when we started, the marriage was in a tough place because we were dealing with financial struggle. There were so many different reasons, but now I just observe with the new hope for my future. Yeah. And having something that I love doing. Right. And I feel inspired to wake up and do it. I'm a more filled up version in who I bring to the marriage. Right. And even like in one of our calls, you mentioned Alison Armstrong, and I'm listening to her book and watching how that plays out. Yes. Like literally, y'all, Sylvie doesn't just help you build a program. She helps you create a life. And I think it was part of my marriage recovery and our financial recovery. I mean, I was literally showing her all of our debts and we're going
bear it all.
And home refinance or not.
Which is hilarious because that's totally not even what we do. But I was like on a retreat, I was like, you guys want to do this? Yep. All right, great. That's the flexibility of running our own business where it applied to everybody and everybody wanted some help on that. And I love personal finance. So why the hell not? But I love that you shared that.
Successful entrepreneur and you can help others become successful entrepreneurs if they're ready to put in.
That last part. Yeah. If they're ready to put in the work and really listen and be coachable for sure.
Yeah, and no excuses, no resistance.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So if there's anyone kind of hesitating or, deciding, should I create an online course, whether they're coming from being an employee, or maybe they have their brick and mortar one-on-one, or maybe they're doing network marketing or whatever it may be, what message would you want to leave them?
I think 3 things. Number 1, figure out what is it that you're really passionate about. Like if you were to go, this is the thing that I would really love to be doing out in the world and impacting people, right? And hopefully it's something where there's lots of competitors, because where there's lots of competitors means there's money in the marketplace.
I love it.
Not something that's so specialized. It's like your thing, but nobody has money to spend.
I love it because most people see competitors and they're like, there's too many. So you're saying the exact opposite, which I completely agree with.
Competitors is a good thing. And then have a call with Sylvie. And then put in the work.
Yeah, put in the work. That's a huge one. Like nothing will happen by magic. There's nothing that happens magically with a sign up button. No, but it's work.
Seriously, if you just do what she says and don't get caught up in all the reasons why not and trying to get it. So, I'll see people just perseverating on what's the name of my program.
Right.
Or I have to have a website or I have to have it doesn't have to be perfect. It just simply needs to be an action. Yeah. And I would literally just go, okay, tell me where to step.
Right.
How do I jump? How high do I jump? And then go and do it. And even though I felt like I was flailing and I didn't know where I was going. Yeah. The trust. I put my trust in the process and I listened into that. And I said, this is something I'm committed to. So let's roll.
I love it. And the commitment was, you really weren't interested or curious. You were committed, right? There is the interested and curious, and there's that phase where you're sort of window shopping and and then there's like, okay, committed, let's go. And that's it, where it's like, okay, seatbelts on, we're going.
Yeah, we're going.
I love it. I love it. Okay, great. Well, Mariah, where can people find more about you? Where can they find you if they want to connect, or if maybe they want to join your program or find out more about your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mariah is Maraya. Mariah. So go to mariahbrown.com.
Perfect. We'll put that.
You can also find me over on Facebook. You're welcome to just DM me, to be honest with you. 2 groups that I run. One is Beyond the Red Tent. The other one is Women Rocking Their Energy, Hormones, and Libido. You're welcome to pop over to either of those Facebook groups. And if you go to mariahbrown.com, you're welcome to grab my free adaptogen elixir recipes. Use those, drink them. That will benefit you in all sorts of ways. And I have a free workshop coming up in August. So take a peek over there and let me know if you're if you want to attend. And if nothing else, I get to pour into you and you get to learn something and have some very practical steps to start transforming your own experience of energy, hormones, and libido.
I love it. I love that so much. And we'll definitely put your link to your Facebook group, and I'm sure all of those things are linked out there as well. We're going to put, or not to your Facebook group, to your website. And that way they can find all the different things below. Great. If you are listening to this and you are a health professional and you are interested in creating an online course, I'll invite you to go ahead and apply below. So the link to that is sylviemccracken.com/apply. And what that will be is a very short couple questions, and that will give you our free training to take a look at and see if this is something you want to do. So even if you're not entirely sure, I invite you to just take a couple of moments and fill out that questionnaire, and we'll let you know if it's something that we can help you with and send your free private training either way. And we'll take it from there. All right. Thanks so much for joining, guys. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye for now. Oh. No, that's not what I wanted to.
We don't need to record.
We don't need to. No, but I will see you. Let me end this and come back on Zoom.
Okay.
So I can chat with you.
Got it.